Welcome. Welcome to the Star Witch table. My name is Michaela. If you'd just like to pull this beautiful Moroccan rose resin over your energy field and feel it going right down your spine, cleansing and releasing, just allowing the wisdom to come through on the holy smoke. And today I'm sharing with you my organic take on the nodes for 2022. So the North Node Taurus, the South Node Scorpio. I'm in beautiful Ronjarabara country in southeast Queensland. I live on a sacred mountain. I'm very honoured to walk the ancient ways, the waters, the rainforest are my habitat. And of course, living on a beautiful mountain, the panoramic view. It's taken me a lot of reflective time to come to meet you today to offer this video on what I feel the nodes of fate may possibly encapsulate. I work strongly with crow medicine and butterfly medicine. So the crows were around strongly talking and sharing this morning as sacred law, L-O-R-E, law keepers. And of course, the beautiful butterflies that are around at this moment in time represent transformation of the psyche. And the sacred plant that has come to me that I've been working with over the last 6 weeks has been the ivy. Now, ivy is evergreen, it's everlasting. It was and is sacred to the Druids. And also it correlates with the resurrection and rebirth of Osiris, eternal life. And this is what I have behind me. I'll just move the camera up a little bit so you can see the ivy. Okay. So we're setting the tone here. And with these explorations of the eclipses, they're also called the nodes of fate. Now, as we know with ivy and nature itself, the forces are uncomfortable at times. So it helps us stay on our path. Ivy has a medicine of helping us stay on our path. It purifies the air and it guards us against negative energies. And of course, it was one of the symbols of Dionysus because it's such a vigorous, amazing medicine plant. So it is also representative of Osiris being the god of death. So for 2022, with the nodes of fate, the South Node in Scorpio, the North Node in Taurus, we are looking at the fixed cross here of Taurus, fixed earth, Scorpio, fixed water, so fertile. And then on the axes, we also have Leo for fixed fire and Aquarius for fixed air. So we need to look at all of this within the scope of what we are transforming. So as many of you know, I've worked with the nodes of fate for many, many years, and I dive deeply into past lives using the nodes of fate as a key to this, amongst other planetary aspects. So This is a tremendous opportunity to clear out the past and other incarnations around old narratives, imprints of previous past lives that may be coming up and causing a lot of fear and discomfort. Now, the nodes of fate, the North Node, the dragon's head, and the South Node, the dragon's tail, are two key players in your karmic destiny and important aspects to dream into a new consciousness. So the South Node is very comfortable and it governs your past, your gifts, your skills over different lifetimes. These energetic imprints are imbued within you. So you have your own nodes of fate in your own personal natal chart, and it relates to the eclipse season of when you were born. So you may draw strength and wisdom from your South Node. However, there are tendencies or aspects also within the placement of the South Node that bring in constraints from the past that need to be released. So with any aspect or sign or sensitive point within astrology, there is always a healthy, life-affirming, positive expression. There can also be a challenging or psychologically difficult expression of the same energy. So this process allows you to become more aligned with your true path, your true purpose, your true destiny. The North Node, which is the polar opposite, comes in to activate a new story within your soul's evolution. And it brings in a progressive way to forward the collective destiny. This is the North Node. And the nodes of fate go through a seasonal cycle every 18 months. So for 2022, we're in Taurus Scorpio. And we won't get to experience these nodes of fate in the same correlation with the North Node in Taurus for another 19 years. And so it's not always easy to move into your North Node because it challenges you around personal growth, soul consciousness, and patterns from the past that we need to leave behind. Now, Crow is an amazing medicine and shapeshifter and keeper of sacred lore. And with this, we can access the past, the present, and the future. The butterfly comes in to bring in transformation of the psyche. And so this is a wonderful imagery to work with around butterfly magic and medicine, transformation of the psyche, and the crow, who is a shapeshifter of the timelines. Now we need to free ourselves from the fear. South Node in Scorpio is going to activate fear in this lifetime or previous lifetimes. It is ruled by Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, as the modern day ruler of Scorpio. The ancient ruler is Mars. If we suppress our emotions, it will erupt like a volcano. You are being called to journey into the underworld, to look at your innermost demons. This is the Shadowlands. And I invite you to really explore the darker recesses of your psyche, to befriend the subconscious parts or the unconscious parts of yourself. These are the parts that we are possibly ashamed of. we really don't want to meet these parts or even acknowledge them or befriend them, but this is where the gift of the gold lies. We have to go inwards to explore our own shadowlands. Now, I have been witnessing that when there is projection or external blame or a triggering or a reaction point, that is the key to bring it back to yourself, radical self-responsibility, agency of self. And really look at what is this bringing up for me, rather than reacting and going into vitriol or a very poisonous, toxic outburst. The blame game, shaming, those loved ones around you. So we're also seeing this play out in the collective in a different way, where there are manipulative, toxic powers that are wanting to control. Now, if we take this into a more esoteric, occult perspective, with the timeline of Mother Earth and humanity, there have been many dark energies that have been manipulating the evolution of humanity for eons of time. They know how to work with the dark arts, the dark magic, manipulative magic, and there has been a galactic war going on over Mama Earth's resources for eons of time. We need to bring it back home with the North Node in Taurus ruled by Venus, to bring it back home to true embodiment within ourselves. Now, Venus is in her cycle activating the release of the morning star. And this release is also tied in with the potent activation of traversing the underworld. And there will be a lot of shock, because we're now also looking at the other two zodiacal signs in the fixed grand cross of this, is there will be a lot of shocking revelations with Aquarius. It is not going to be comfortable when people witness the manipulation and the toxicity and the depth of the darkness that has been at play. Now, within this, we are also going to see a rise in the process of being reborn. The 3 days, the 3 nights. Witnessing death. Now, this could be symbolic as well, where an old part of you is dying, an old part of your identity is dying to be released. All the old systems, the establishment is being dismantled. And we're in the throes of the valley of death before we see the new lands, the new horizons, the new landscape, which is a beautiful new earth with the Venusian codes, the North Node in Taurus. There are many amazing souls that are being activated with their destiny, their purpose at this moment in time. A lot of incredible medicine carriers have been trained to be death doulas, and we have an incredible amount of spiritual midwives that are able to hold the sacred space, the sacred temenos, to witness and support the evolution of humanity throughout this portal. The eclipse portals bring in past, present, and future. They are magical portals in time itself, where you can go in and access a lot of the Akashic records. We also need to remember that we are creator beings. So we cannot deny and spiritually bypass this anymore. There was an over-exaggeration of spiritual grandiosity, especially last year, with over-information sharing, especially with the nodes of fate in Gemini, Sagittarius. So we cannot escape our earthly experience and earthly embodiment with the North Node in Taurus. Taurus and Scorpio also govern the financial aspects of astrology. So we need to be aware there is a huge metamorphosis in the establishment and how you generate your finances, your prosperity, looking at different ways of investing, working with progressive new financial concepts, quantum financial concepts, sovereignty. Our whole relationship with the energetics of this system is going to be deeply transformed. And there will be grief and loss around this, excuse me, because so much of our identity as a society, as an individual, as a collective, we've been programmed magnificently, I must say, to our detriment. And so now we're going through a huge defragging, deprogramming, and allowing for new concepts, new ideas, new cosmologies to come through. And this is where it gets very uncomfortable. And your physical body may be feeling extremely tired and fatigued. Many people are feeling it in their bodies and muscle aches and fogginess. There is like the brain, the neurotransmission is trying to find the right station to tune into. So EMRs, this is all the Aquarius energy. Uranus and Taurus is playing out here as well. So looking at devices that support you in this so that you are coming back into your body and grounding and centering. This is all very Taurus, very Venusian. As much time in nature, grounding with your bare feet, your hands in nature, connecting with the sacred waterways, walking the land or the neighborhood where you live, going to a local park, praying when the sun rises, giving gratitude each morning when the sun rises and when the sun sets. So enormous prayers of gratitude. Leo brings in personal sovereignty, creative expression. And we need to let go of the old narrative that we are not unique creator beings. We are. So your mantra, we are creative, expressive, unique individuals. We are here to be embodied in our human temples, bringing devotional practices back to feeling alive, to seeing the joy and beauty. So creating new visions for humanity. Now, with this, we have liberation. And the first solar partial eclipse is on the 1st of May 2022, 6:27 a.m. So on a Sunday. This is Australian Eastern Standard Time, 10 degrees Taurus. So you might want to track where these eclipses are happening in your own natal chart. A solar eclipse always happens on a dark moon. 2 weeks later, we have the total lunar eclipse on the 16th of May 2022, 2:13 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And this is when the moon is at 25 degrees Scorpio. Full moon, total lunar eclipse. And of course, that's the solar season of Taurus. When we come to the next partial solar eclipse, it's in the second part of the year. So the season of Scorpio, the solar season of Scorpio. And the solar eclipse is on the 25th of October at 8:48 p.m. and it's at 2 degrees Scorpio. Sun and moon, dark moon, solar eclipse, 2 degrees Scorpio. And then the last total lunar eclipse for 2022 is at 16 degrees moon, full moon, 16 degrees Taurus, sun, 16 degrees Scorpio. So this is the total lunar eclipse on the 8th of November. So maybe look at those degrees in your chart, see what house the eclipses fall in, note down the dates and the times, and know that the energetics of an eclipse lasts anywhere between up to 6 months, but those periods between the solar and the lunar are the eclipse windows as well. So we need to be aware with Taurus that it governs fertility and vegetation. And we've got great festivity here, but it is coming back to deep embodiment in your relationship with your body. So somatic experiencing. When was the last time you walked out on Mama Earth with your bare feet? When was the last time you switched off all devices and spent the day out in nature or being creative, using the Leo energy to be creative, divine sovereignty? This is about reclaiming divine sovereignty for humanity as we go through a very strong portal of life, death, and rebirth, to embrace the new phase of life that is dawning, the new dawning for the new earth, the new way of being. So the Venusian codes are showering down upon us, but we still have to navigate the Plutonic underworld, and we're seeing that, as I said, play out in the collective, in our society around us, in our culture. So let us bring in wisdom culture. Let us look at new ways of being. And let us rejoice in the deep embodiment of who we are and bring in our unique creative expression and individuality with this. Many fears will come up. There will be times where it's intense. It always is with Scorpio. in Taurus, yeah? It has to be. In the Wheel of the Year, this relates to the energies, the holy days of Samhain and Beltane. So the more we navigate this on the spiral of life and learn how to transition as doulas that carry the codes of being death walkers, the crow, sacred law, the shape-shifting and the butterfly, the transformation of the psyche, and the beautiful ivy that has everlasting, evergreen qualities about it of endurance and sustainability and renewal. So thank you for tuning in and listening to me. I have just launched a Patreon creator account, so STar Witch Astrology. You're more than welcome to join me on there monthly, and there are very exclusive, up-to-date transmissions and channelings that will be available. But I will always offer these free astro forecasts, and it's just that there's a little bit more extra juiciness and magic and special content that's in the Patreon. So go well with love and magic, and join your hearts for this incredible time of humanity. But be gentle and compassionate and kind as well within this space.